I am Maura Carew. I'm a writer, director, producer from the Los Angeles area. I mainly write darker drama, science fiction, and my current film that's ending its festival run is called Paint, and it actually won Best Drama at Albuquerque Film Festival, which is their film festival, so that was very exciting. And we just finished our run at San Diego Comic-Con as well. So we went all around the world, Berlin Sci-Fi, and yeah, it was very exciting. So yeah.
Hi everybody, I'm Raja Hanna. I'm from Montreal, Canada, Quebec, Canada. And my movie, so I'm a scriptwriter, a director and producer. The movie that I'm presenting here at the festival is A Night of Resolutions, which I wrote and produced. It's directed by Dylan Gould. And it did win Best Short at the Canadian Independent Film Festival. And it's doing this festival run. We did win in Prague and in Chicago too. So I'm very proud of the movie that we're presenting. And so I do write scripts that differ from one to the other. It's some of them, the majority of them are dramas, but some of them are surrealism, some of them are based on real stories, and now I'm doing a kind of drama documentary and animation. So I'm just crazy. I do whatever I want.
Yeah, you're the boss.
Hi everyone, I'm Louis Darconti. My film played last night and it was Morning Glory, and I'm a director, screenwriter, and producer.
I am Gia Garcia. I am a writer, director, and actor based here in Phoenix. I had my film last night, Heard. It was a chef's documentary that I made with my friend, Race Robbins. But yeah, I tend to not stick with one genre. I like to kind of do the same thing, kind of do as much as I can. But other than that, I love enjoying what I do.
Hi, I'm Theo Barstow. My film played last night. It was The In-Between. I'm a director, writer, and producer. I've done stuff for PBS, and I'm an executive director, a technical director at a local morning show here in Phoenix. I tend to write dramas with like a twist of surrealism, and I focus on queer and multicultural identities.
Hi, I'm Brian O'Connor. Like everybody else up here, I wear many hats. Writer, director, producer, scene person, props, chaser, downer, the whole gamut. My film here played last night, The Seeds of Change, an animated short. I like the way you put that, Ross, because I make animated films, but then I write for live action. I like the character-driven dramas and stories in which ordinary people do extraordinary things, basically. So a little bit of a split personality for me also. So thank you.
So there's a lot of, I feel like, genre bending going on. What inspired you to maybe do more than one different genre or one different medium? I heard there's like documentary, but then also live action or animation and live action. Were you always interested in that, or yeah, what made you decide to do that?
Well, for me, I'm a student, so I am, still getting my degree now, but I had someone telling me, what projects, not specifically give me this, but here's an idea, run with it. And so I was able to kind of mess with documentaries, mess with something with a little more narrative, and because of that, I've been able to have kind of a little more of a diverse portfolio that way. But now that I'm not really being told what to do, I've definitely had a little more of a challenge with that. But it's been the same, I have the same approach when it comes to writing. So I think when I'm just passionate about a story and something that I really am drawn to, no matter what the genre is, I think as long as I care about it enough where it's my baby, that's where I can really grow with it. Yeah. What for you?
I guess I pull most of my stuff from personal experience. And then when it comes to genre bending, I think that combining comedy and drama or sci-fi and drama is just more like real life, because real life is never really just one genre. It's like a mixture and a roller coaster of different things. So I think it just makes it more interesting to combine different elements.
For me, I've been at the screenwriting thing for about 5 years, decided I wanted to make something. My kids weren't super young, but they were still young enough I had a lot of dad duties. And I figured, you know what, I'm never going to chase down locations and crew and still make sure I'm driving a volleyball and attending soccer. So that's why I said, you know what, I'll hire an animator. They can do that. I can keep writing on this side, and then I get a little taste of both. Flash forward like 6 years, I'm actually going to take a shot at a live action short in the spring. And so I spent the last couple of months talking to crew, looking at locations, trying to get things together, and I realized that I was right back then. I would have never had time to put it all together like that, so it was driven out of necessity for me. But I also found it was good mentally because a lot of rejection, right? Maybe I don't get good feedback on something I've written on this side, but then I get a new character designed from the animator on this side. So it helps keep things even for me in my head. So it turned out to be a good thing.
So the stuff that I write, I direct and write films and music videos, and there's always a difference between those with genre bending. My stuff's more surreal, experimental, more dramatic. Those are the things I prefer to write. But just like what was said, with life, there's so many different genres that present themselves in life, and I feel like every film, every project that you're working on is like its own little baby. So it all kind of, it can differ so much, and I think as a writer, having that ability to genre bend to what you're working on and just experiencing life and storytelling, I think it's a beautiful thing. And yeah, I think it's awesome.
Well, I can answer it too. So this, for me, the genre started with surrealism. You know, I have a art history bachelor's, and I started writing movies about Dadaism and surrealism. So in the beginning, it's the art history movements in the beginning of the 20th century of André Breton, Marcel Duchamp, Dali, Buñuel. So I like the surrealism and how liberating it is. You know, you can write crazy dreams, whatever you want. Everything's accepted. It's just like amazing, and it's therapeutic. You know, when you write whatever, and if people don't like it, you can hide behind the surrealism. You know, it's you don't understand it, but it's surrealism. You know. So it started like that. I did 2 movies about surrealism, and then I had stories. That I wanted to say, and so it became all dramas. So I'm not in comedy yet. I find it for me harder to write comedy, so that's the genre. But I have a question for the other people, because I start always writing my movies. I write stories. It's like a novel, and then I switch it to scripts. How does everybody do it? Technically speaking, do you write complete dialogue script, or you do the process like me?
I guess I'll go first. That's a great question. For me, honestly, it's kind of just an idea that pops in my head, and once I really like it and I have a good idea of kind of what I want to do with it, I immediately kind of write it down, but I kind of just do it in keywords, kind of just chunks. So, I just very simple sentences write down what the story consists of, what the important facts are. And then eventually it starts to come together. I start to lay in the details a little bit more. And kind of similar to you, kind of novel style, but I feel like it's a little more interesting when I get to see it in a little more of a physical manner. So when I write it down physically, instead of writing it on a computer, I feel as though I connect with the story more rather than just typing in on some sort of little electrical box. So, but yeah, how about for you?
So my notes app on my phone is really full. I have no structure. Whenever an idea comes into my head, I will write it down. And then I think a lot of the writing actually happens in my head, so I spend a lot of time just looking at a wall and thinking and seeing scenes in my head. And then if I think that's good, I'll kind of write the basis of that. And then eventually, once I have like a group of scenes that I like, I can start stringing those together in order, and then I just start writing and revising after that.
And sorry, I'm like sweating, but excuse me. So I actually don't have a structure either. And when I was like coming up, everyone was like, you have to make an outline or the story is not going to work. But I feel like my stories have always been born from a dream or an idea. So Paint, which is playing tonight, I just had this vision of this artist like furiously painting something in like madness, you know? And so that's where the story started, just from that one like 5-second scene that I had in my head. It was born from that. So not, and then of course afterwards, then I will like make an outline and outline everything, but it doesn't really start like that. It just starts with a vision that I can't really get rid of, and then that vision always is in the scene, ends up in the final film, I mean, but I like build the film around that, so yeah.
I think with my personal way of building a script and building a story, every project kind of has its own different thing. It all starts with the idea in the head, and maybe you can write down notes app. I usually always have my notes app handy, or like a little piece of paper in my bag, just in case you get a little idea and you jot it down. Even just images, if I see something that inspires me, I'll take a picture of it. I think the thing that's so beautiful about stories is it can literally come from anything that you can see. And I think for myself, once I get that idea, I kind of latch onto it. I love handwriting all my stuff. I think that's really, really, I agree with like versus a computer. It's a lot more like tangible. You can erase it, you can cross it. I think there's so many different ways that I can take on a project. I like to fully indulge myself in it. If it's like a knight in shining armor kind of story, I love checking out locations or things like that that kind of will build upon that. So that's something I love doing, just indulging myself and kind of learning little things about the characters and what the story is. And that's been different for every single project that I've done. But I think it's a lot of fun, and I agree with a lot of people up here about your ways of writing scripts. It's awesome, and I definitely relate to a lot of those.
Yeah, like's been said here several times, the Notes app is full of seed ideas, as the folder is called. But, you know, even though every project is different, some will come quicker than others, I tend to sit with the idea for sometimes several years. And when it finally kind of reveals itself, which that's really what happens, it's not me coming up with it, it's coming to me. And I know this can be verboten in some circles, but I put it into just a simple save the cat beat sheet. You know, just get the major turns, the major beats, and I go write the script from there. But it's an outline, but it's a really loose outline because I'd really rather find what I want to find when I find it, when it reveals itself.
Nice. So along that, I'm wondering, this might be a little personal, but I'm wondering how much of yourself, like, you bring to your scripts in terms of, like, characters or just, like, how much of, yourself is in your scripts.
Well, if, I'm 100% in everybody in this, all the different characters, you know. The movie that you're going to see today, in Night of Resolution, is partly based, it's based on a true story. It's something that I lived personally in my family. So I did write it thinking about each person, my mom, my brother, sister, and my dad. And but at the same time, I put myself in each character, and when after writing the story, once I started writing the dialogue, I started fighting with myself because it's a drama about divorce, and I was fighting. I was like tired, and my wife would tell me, "It's like, what's happening? Stop writing that." So I'm always putting myself 100% in. All my movies are extremely personal, so I'm in 100% in everything, and that's why when it's critiqued badly, it does hurt. It hurts a lot, actually. I did get that one.
I agree. I think a lot of films are extremely personal, especially when you're doing surrealism and stuff like that. As a surrealist artist too, there's a lot that carries into that. Along with my film that played last night, Morning Glory, it was a very personal film. It was a film I made for my grandmother when she was in hospice. So in that regard, yes, films can be very personal. And I think even if they're not meant to be or written that way, I think that as writers, I think even the worst characters that we write that we think, oh, we would never be, I think there's still a piece of us that we carry through those stories and those characters. And yeah, I think for myself, I do carry a lot of my own personal heart into all my productions, even if it's not the purpose of that, if that makes sense, where it's not like completely directed towards that. But yeah.
Yeah, definitely. There's a piece of you in everything you write, in situations and actions and things that happened in your life, things that happened in your life you wish you did differently. They all come out. So yeah, there's, I'd say, definitely a piece of me in everything, especially the sexy and super smart villains. That's the biggest part of it.
I think it's really important to at least see yourself in the script in one way or the other. Whether or not, if it doesn't have to do with your personal life or not, just picture if it's someone you have a relationship with in real life, and you can translate that into your story, or any way you can relate to the script, I think is super important. Because if you're making something that you just can't even connect to at all, I don't think that's going to be a very successful project. So having something where you can get inspiration from your real life, and then I think that's what makes it so fun about the film world, is that you can turn the real life into this